Hey guys, it's Cece, and today I'm going to be doing a tag video. So today I'm going to be doing the totally should've book tag because I was tagged to do it by Becky Mundy, I believe, and I will leave the link to her channel below. This was a tag originally created by Emma's Books, and I will also leave the link to that original video so you can go and check that out as well. But I'm very excited. I've seen a few people do the totally should've book tag, and I think it is really fun and has some really fun questions on it. So let's just get started with all of these really fun questions. So the first one on this list is totally should've gotten a sequel. And for this one, I'm going to go with The Host by Stephanie Meyer. I know when this originally came out, it feels like ages and ages ago. We were told we were going to get a sequel, and I was kind of counting on that, and then it just never happened. In all honesty, I really want to see what else Stephanie Meyer can do, because I waited this long for another Host book, and instead, we got Twilight Reimagined, which is really interesting, and I can't wait to read that, but at the same time, this was a really fascinating world, and I loved The Host, and so I'm just really curious as to where else this could go. Again, at the time it came out, we were told it was going to get a sequel, and it should have gotten a sequel. I would like to read more in the world of The Host. Next up, we've got a book that totally should have gotten a spin-off. And for this one, I'm going to go with Graceling by Kristin Cashore. The Graceling realm is a fantastic trilogy of books and is just a really, really wonderful series. I love all three individually, but I think that there is clearly room for that world to grow more. Because this isn't as much a series as a series of companion novels, it would be really easy to do another spin-off book or, more books about a specific character. Either one. I just love this series so much, and I think that the world is so interesting, and there are so many characters in the world that I absolutely love. So I would 100% read more, even if I only got a passing mention of some of my favorite characters. I just think that the Graceling realm is so interesting and definitely deserves kind of a spin-off world to look at. The next question is an author who totally should have written more books. For this, I'm going to go with Erin Morgenstern, author of The Night Circus. This is such a fantastic book, and I know I've recommended it again a couple of times recently. It's just so magical and so well written and so wonderful to read, and I've just been desperately wondering when Erin Morgenstern's going to write more, because this was such a fantastic first book to be written. I know that she's got so much more in her to be able to write, and I would really like to hear more from Erin Morgenstern. I think that she has a lot of potential to create beautiful new stories, and I would like to read them. The next question is someone who totally should have ended up with someone else. Now, for the most part, I'm pretty easygoing on this. I tend to go with whatever canon ship happens, because that is the ship that the author is leading me towards anyway, and I'm just naturally all for that. So for the most part, I go with canon ships. And this one isn't necessarily canon or endgame, and I won't spoil anything for you, but I am currently very, very displeased with the state of the relationships in Queen of Shadows by Sarah J. Maas, and that is all I will say about which relationships they are. I think if you know my feelings about Queen of Shadows, you know who I'm talking about. And of course, there are going to be more books in the series, so there's no need to panic just yet. But at present, I am very, very against this. So that's my answer. I really hope that this changes because I'm very displeased with the current state of things. Next up, a book that totally should have ended differently. And for this one, I'm going to go with Dreams of Gods and Monsters by Laini Taylor. Now, I read this series last year, and I did really enjoy it, and I think you guys know that I wasn't super passionate about it, but I did really like the series. However, my one issue with the final book was that it was so wonderful, and then the last 40 pages went off on this huge alternate storyline that I thought was way too big to be handled in the time it was given. I think Laini Taylor took on a bit too much there, and it kind of made me lose my love for some of the other storylines that were going on, and I just think it was built up too big too fast. I think that Laini Taylor had a great storyline going through the first two books in the series and for the majority of the third, and then it just kind of went off on this road that I wasn't expecting, and I didn't really end up enjoying, so I could have done without that at the end of Dreams of Gods and Monsters, because otherwise that was just a fantastic final book. Next up, a book that totally should have had a movie. And for this, I'm actually going to go with a comic series, and I'm going to be going with Lumberjanes. This is the first one, so it doesn't have anything written on it. I'm gonna pull out the second one. So Lumberjanes is a series by Noelle Stevenson, Grace Ellis, Shannon Waters, and Brooke Allen, and it is so wonderful. I believe that this has been optioned possibly for movie rights. I'm not exactly sure where that stands, but this is such a fun comic series, and I think it would make such a fun and wonderful movie, especially if it was a kids movie, because this comic series normalizes so many different elements of diversity without making like a huge deal of it, and I think that that would be a really great movie to put out there. You know, a kids movie with Girl Scout-esque main characters who have gay characters and gay relationships and a trans character and a lot of really diverse characters. That would just be wonderful for a movie. Also, this is so much fun. I don't think I've ever had more fun than when I am reading Lumberjanes actively. I'm a little behind right now, but hopefully I will be catching up soon. I'm on single issue 13, I believe. It's just such a fun series, and it would make such a fun movie if it was done correctly. Next up, a book that totally should have had a TV show. For a long time, my answer to this was A Series of Unfortunate Events by Lemony Snicket, but at present, it looks like we're probably going to get a TV show on Netflix. I will reserve my current feelings about this situation. I talked about it already. We know I'm panicking. So my answer to this question now is going to be the Gone series by Michael Grant. Again, I know that this has been optioned for a TV show. It's been really slow going. It doesn't really seem like it's going anywhere, but I think it should. I think that this has a lot of potential as a TV show as long as it isn't watered down, because this is a very dark series, and also it would be very difficult to cast because all of the characters have to be under the age of 15. And I don't love that, because I don't love like a whole collection of child actors. But I think if it was done correctly, this could be such a good and really engaging television show. So I hope that they make a little bit more headway on that, because I would love to watch this as a TV show. A book that totally should have only had one point of view. Originally for this question I was going to say Allegiant by Veronica Roth, but everyone says Allegiant for this question, so I thought I would mix it up, give you something new, because everyone says Allegiant. So I'm going to go with Afterworlds by Scott Westerfeld. My problem with this book was that I loved one character and I absolutely really hated the other storyline. I just wanted to hear Darcy. I didn't need to read Darcy's book. And I know that's like the whole thing with this book, but I liked it so little that I'm gonna have to say I wish that this had only been about Darcy and that I hadn't had to read The Paranormal Romance with Lizzie at all. Next up, a book that totally should have had a cover change. For this one, just quite quickly, I'm going to go with 13 Little Blue Envelopes by Maureen Johnson. There are, I believe, 2 covers for this at present. This one, as well as this one. I don't like either of them. This book, I believe, came out in 2005, and these are the most 2005 covers I have ever seen. I think it would be wonderful if this was redesigned to look a little less like a 2005 teen girl book. Technically, that's what it is, but I think that there's a lot more to it with the travel and the letters. I think it could have a really, really beautiful cover if you design it like one of the letters in the books. So yeah, overall, don't love these covers, either of them, even though I really like the book. A book that totally should have kept the original cover. For this one, I'm going to go with the Dustland series, or Blood Red Road. I started reading this years and years ago, and I read the first 2 books, and I think that this cover of Blood Red Road is gorgeous. I think it's beautiful. It's one of my favorite covers, and I don't even mind the alternate cover for Blood Red Road. My problem is as the series goes on, because the cover for the second one, I think it's hideous, and I think it could have been so much nicer if we'd kept the original design of the books, because I just don't love this at all, and while I really, really want to finish the series, I'm like hesitant to buy them because I'm so against these covers. I just don't think it fits the tone of the book at all, is my main problem, and a cover should fit the tone of the story, in my opinion. And finally, a series that totally should have stopped at book 1. And for this, I don't want to stop at book 1 as much as I would like it to stop before it reached book, I don't know, what are we at now, 9? I want to go with the Maximum Ride series by James Patterson. The first 3 books of this series I think are really fun, they're funny, they're fast-paced, they're interesting, and you really like all the characters. And then after that, it takes this huge nosedive, and it's all really not great from there. I have read most of the books in this series, but after reading, I don't even know, book 8? I think it was called Angel, I think. It was the one after Fang. I just said no matter how many more books in this series come out, I won't read them because I didn't like where the story was going. I was so sick of forcing myself through every book. So yeah, if James Patterson had just been able to wrap that up in 3 books, this would have been a great series and I would have really loved it. And why? Why is it still going? Why? Okay, you guys, there you go. That is the totally should've book tag. I hope that you have enjoyed watching. If you have any answers to these questions, please let me know down below. I'm especially interested, what books do you guys think should be turned into movies and or TV shows? Because that's a really big thing right now. They're pretty much adapting everything. So I'm just curious. I'm going to do a whole video about ones that I think. So I'm just curious what you guys think. Let me know what those are down below. And thank you so much for watching. I will see you in another video very soon. Bye!